Hello everyone, welcome back to Fenton Forest. We are now plowing field 2. Field 1's been completed and the fence doing a great job. Pretty happy with that machine. And this plow, while it did take a while to get that field done, I think given the size, it's actually not too bad. I mean, 8 meters is about as wide as you're going to get with just about any plowing implement, unless you get a pretty huge horsepower tractor like the Big Bud 747 or an upgraded quad track or something like that. So for these two fields at least, I think we're doing good there. So we take a look at our field conditions here. Okay, so we've got field 1 fertilized, plowed, limed, ready to go. Field 2 is on its way to getting to that state. So what I'd like to do with field 2 right now, let's see, we've got a couple options. I do want to sell some of the wheat, but I also want to start seeding on field 1. And I think we need to use the T8 for that. Because the Amazon seeder requires 270 horsepower, which I do have on the Puma, but just barely. So I think we'll use the New Holland for that, and then I'll use the Puma to sell the grain. It'll probably run a little bit slowly, but we should be doing fine. Right, so we're going to do soybeans on field 1, and then when field 2 is ready, we will plant corn on field 2. Just FYI, I did put where am I going? Okay, over here. I did put the harvester away in this shed, and I picked up the corn header and put it in here as well, just to get it out of the way. So what remains to be seen now with this is how well we're going to be able to fill this implement using the silo. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to get fertilizer and seed at will. Let's try it out. Remember, we had some trouble with multi-silos on the last map. Crud. Yeah, it's giving me the option for seeds. Fertilizer. Oh, yes. That is great. Okay, hopefully it works like that every time. All right, let's select soy. There we go. And we'll go to field 1 and get this started. I do have wide tires on, so we should be okay. All right, you see that strip of lime. I mean, the field is totally ready. You see that strip of lime just because the fertilizer and the lime application didn't always go in order. So that particular area got fertilized first and then limed, and everything else got limed first and then fertilized. Okay, that looks about lined up. Let's get it going. All right, planting our first crop. Yeah, and it looks like the T8 is pulling it without any problem. 18 kph. Lovely. I did finish those 2 fertilizing contracts. And I think the reason that they were worth so much money is because those fields were pretty huge. They were a lot bigger than what I initially expected. Right, so the New Holland's back in town. Pretty dirty. It needs a wash. But I think there's another big fertilizing contract available. Oh, yeah, here it is. Field 9. Field 9, 21 grand. But let's take a look at field 9. Yeah, I think the worker can handle that. Let's take that contract and get that started. And then there's field 10. Maybe we should take field 10 while we're there. Yeah, let's do both. And remember, I do have the mod that allows me to accept multiple contracts at once, which is why I'm able to do that. If you don't have that mod, you'll only be able to do one contract at a time. I think the mod itself is called multiple missions or something like that. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But if you can't Google it and find it and you really want to know what it is, leave me a comment and I will look it up for you. There we go. Okay, so we'll get this contract going, and then we can use the Puma to haul the grain to wherever we need to take it to get sold. I haven't looked at where the best price is yet. I've commented before that that I felt that I was having some frame rate issues. You know, and I did reboot my machine, which is often one of the first things I do when I'm having a problem like that. But I think the reason that my frame rate is lower now than it was on Felsbrunn, or at least I perceive it to be lower. I haven't actually confirmed that, but I think it's just because this map has a lot more detail on it than the Giants maps do. You know, there's a lot more trees and that sort of thing. And I know that Stevie did say that he was trying to optimize it a little bit for lower spec machines. So it's probably better than it was in the first test version. This is now the second test version of the map, by the way. It's not the final release. But Stevie's waiting on Giants to fix some things before he takes it to the final version. And he said that, he thought the map would be fine for a Let's Play the way that it is now in test version 2. So that's why I decided to go ahead and start the series and not wait for the final version, because when we have to wait for an update from Giants, there's really no telling when it will come. So, and I was anxious to get started on a new map after spending about 80 hours on Felsbrunn. I enjoyed it, but for me, that's kind of a long time to spend on one map. I like to get to new things. Okay. Now, crop destruction is turned off when you're doing contracts, so I don't mind not having narrow wheels on the spreader or on my machine. And I'm just going to put the worker on this. I know it's going to probably have some trouble at the edges of the field. This would be an ideal job for Courseplay to handle. But I don't want to use Courseplay yet on my Let's Play because I don't want it to crash. I don't want my save to get corrupted because, if it was just a casual game, I would definitely be using it. But for a Let's Play, I need to be a little bit more careful since, since I'm depending on this to keep the series going. All right, so we'll just let the worker deal with that the best that it can. And let's go get in the tipper. Or let's connect the tipper. I don't want to get in the tipper. I'll get covered with wheat. And I was thinking on the first trip, I'll stop by the pig pen and I'll top off the grain for the pigs. You can see wheat and barley, they're about 50% full. Looks like they'll take about 4,000 liters to fill that off. So I'll just top them off on the way to wherever it is that we're going, which we need to figure out. So wheat, best price is at Port Southeast. No, train station mill. 12:24. All right, where is the train station mill? There is the train station mill, which is fairly close, but I don't know if I have to deliver by train here. Okay, no, it looks like I can drive up. Perfect. Let's take a quick look and see how our other machines are doing. Okay, seeding is coming along rather quickly, which is what we were counting on by buying this very expensive seeder. And the plowing is moving along slowly, which is also what we expected. So looks like everything's going fine. And I love it when I get all my machines working all at the same time. Makes me feel really productive. I don't see any dirt in the animal pens yet, so I don't think we need to do any cleaning. Well, we've only been here for a few hours, I suppose, so. The front feels a little light. Pulling this big tipper with this tractor. If I was going to do this a lot, I would probably want. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure. I need to make a right turn here. I would probably want a heavier weight on the front if I was going to use the Puma for this all the time. But if we can make enough money off of this harvest, then I'm going to buy a truck. And then we'll use the truck for all the grain selling from now on. Whoa, yeah, see, it's definitely got a little too much weight on the back here. Okay, whew. Glad he went the other way. All right, and if you've played on Felsbrunn, then this driveway will look familiar. Stevie always impresses me with how he can start with a stock map and turn it into something completely different like this. Okay. Oh, I forgot to feed the pigs. We'll get them on the next one. I'm pretty sure we'll have enough money for the truck because especially with these 3 contracts we're doing. That's close to 100,000 right there. Okay. Yeah, and it looks like you can sell by train here too. So I'm glad we have the option. You know, on some of the Giants maps, there's a sell point for trains, but you can only get there with a train. What's this? Is that the dairy? Or is this... What is this? This is animal supplies. What do we sell at animal supplies? Okay, animal supplies. We'll take oats, corn. Oh, okay. And they'll also take silage, hay, and straw. Can you buy that stuff here too, or just sell it? I think it's a sell point only. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, and this is where you would buy animals too. All right. Interesting. Alright, so let's drive back for round 2. And this selling is usually one of the first things that I try to automate with course play in previous versions of the game. You know, because when you have to make the same trip 3 or 4 times, it's not terribly interesting. So you can set up a loop between the silo and each of the various sell points, and then when you're ready to sell, you just put your truck on that course, tell it, you know, load the course for the sell point that you want, and it'll continue to go until the silo is empty. All right, let's try not to forget the pigs this time. Okay. Actually, now that I think about it, I do have barley in the silo. I think I'll just give them barley. I'll just sell all the wheat, since I want the money from the wheat right now, and I can give them some of the barley that we've got there. Okay. Let's make another round here. And we'll take a look over here and see how our seeding is coming along. I don't see my machine anywhere. Yeah, it's hard to tell from here. I'll just assume that they're doing okay. So let me know how you're enjoying the map. I'm really liking it. Having some new surroundings, new equipment to play with. I'm interested to see what kind of income we can expect from these 2 fields once they're fully fertilized and everything. Since, you know, our first harvest was about the lowest yield you can possibly get, since they weren't plowed, they didn't have a lime, they weren't fertilized, they didn't have weeds, so we've got that going for us. Could have been worse. I guess that would be the lowest yield you could get if they also had weeds. Okay, and I think we're going to need, I think it was about 250 that we need to get the truck and the trailer. All right, that gets us up to 186. Our contract is getting close to finish. That'll give us another 20. Let's take a look here. Yeah, the agro truck is 121. So we got enough for that already. And then we'd have about 60 left over. It would be nice if we could make the last delivery with the truck. Yeah, we won't have quite enough for the trailer. It would be one of these three. I'm not sure which one I want to get yet. Looks like the cramp or the crump. I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, but that one can carry anything, whereas these other ones are only for, I would say, small particles, right? Cereal grains and fertilizer and seed, whereas this can hold potatoes and anything else you want to move around in it. So this one is going to be a little more flexible. It's probably the one that I should get. I haven't used this one before. Okay, yeah, this one's got the two grain doors on the bottom, as does this one. And I've used this on some of my other some of my private games. But I actually don't like the fact that it has two individual compartments. To me, that's just more stuff to fuss around with. So I think I'm going to go for the red trailer, because we could use it later on to haul other stuff around. We can use it for root vegetables if we wanted to, or root crops. So seems like that, not quite as big as the biggest one there. Well, and the other thing is I could also look at some of the modded ones. I think Stevie's got a couple modded ones that I've downloaded. Actually, let's take a look at that again. And the modded ones might be less expensive too. Here's one that we could start with. The Fleagle. The Fleagle. That one's only 61. We could buy that. It only holds 48 versus 59. I think we just wait. Let's just wait till we have the money to get the bigger one. There's no rush. The only rush is that I always feel like a kid on Christmas morning when I get new stuff. So let's buy the truck, and then we'll see how much money we have left. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'll just take out a small loan for the trailer, and then once we finish selling everything, I'll pay it off right away. Right? So we're kind of like not really buying it with a loan, but it's like we're using our credit card to buy it. I feel okay with that. That way we can use the truck to haul the rest of it and put this tipper away. All right. We'll put the tipper over here, since this is where we're putting all the trailers that carry stuff. Right. Okay. Let's buy a truck. First, I'm going to borrow 50. That should be more than enough. All right. So we got the Phoenix Agro or the Man. The MAN has 500 horse, and the Phoenix, the Tatra, has 462. Trailer hitch. Oh, this could probably pull the tipper as well. Seems like that could be useful. Let's get that. I'm going to change the color. Why does that red not have a color? I want it to match the color of the trailer. I don't know if it's that red or a different red. Okay, well that red doesn't cost me anything, so let's go ahead with that, and if that's not exactly the right color, then we can change it again. Okay, so we've bought a truck, and then we'll buy the big red trailer to go with it. I didn't even see that one. That's a less expensive option. That's $48,000, but I want the big one. Okay, I don't think we need to spend extra money on wheels and tires. Okay, so let's go to the shop and let's see if we got the colors right. It's hard to tell, actually. It looks like my truck might be a slightly lighter shade of red than the trailer. Well, I think that's close enough. We'll live with it a while and see if it if we keep looking at it and feeling like they don't quite match, then I'll try a different color. It might be like the case red. It might be the case red that we need. Okay. So the nice thing about this truck is that number one, it can pull these big trailers that hold a lot of stuff. But the main reason to get these is that they have a very high top speed, 83 kph. So you can make your runs much quicker than you can by pulling a tipper with a tractor. I'm going to lose my license. And also being very busy and productive farmers, having this allows us to get our grain transport done without having to tie up one of our vehicles that could be out in the field. Yeah, I think this color is not quite the right one. Let's take it to the workshop and try the case red and see how that looks. No, I think this is the right color. We'll leave it alone for now. All right, so let's remove the cover, and we'll fill up with wheat. How is that contract coming, by the way? It's done. Great. Okay, and then we take this to field 10, which is the next field to the south, I believe. Yep, right here. And we'll do this one. And again, I'm just going to set the worker on it. We'll let the worker deal with the irregular shape the best that it can. And it says that it's done. Okay, maybe this is Oh, that's field 11. Okay. This is part of field 11 that I'm on. It's hard to tell from the mini map. Field 10's over here. I've already fertilized field 11. That was one of the first contracts that I did. All right, let's come over here. My dog is trying to get my attention. And he shall have it in a few minutes. And I hope this... Yeah. I was going to say I hope it decides to turn right at the end, but I'm not going to leave it to chance. Because I'm sure if I do that, it'll go the short way. Okay, off you go. Seeding is done. That didn't take too long at all. Plowing is nearly done, so we'll be able to plant corn there. All right, let's just check our prices again, just to make sure we're still enjoying the same high price at the train mill. Yes, okay. So one last trip to the train mill, and then we'll pay back that money that we just borrowed. All right, let's top off the pigs. There we go. I know I said I was going to use the barley, but this will save me the trouble. It's a rather nice truck to drive around. Doesn't have any handling problems. It does seem to take a while to get up to top speed, but that's okay. I mean, if I'm making a lot of turns, I shouldn't be going 83 kph anyway. Not the way that I drive. This is rather a long machine, so hopefully I won't have any trouble making this sharp left here. No, no problem. And it pulls up the hill fairly easily. Now, in the game, you know, there's certain things that you do in the game because because it would be done that way on a real farm. And then there are certain things that you can do in this game that the game allows you to do that you would never see happen in real life. Okay? And one of those is that this truck and the MAN truck have close to 500 horsepower. You can put the trailer hitch on it, and they only cost about $120,000. So if you were really desperate for money and you didn't care about realism, you could buy one of these trucks and use it to plow your fields, for example. You know, because they've got more than enough power and they're not expensive at all. It would look kind of silly, but you can hook up implements to these things and run them over your fields if you really wanted to do that. That's not something that I choose to do, but, you know, if the game lets you do it, it's not cheating. Okay, so I think the next thing to do is just get that plowing job done, and then we'll be able to plant some corn. Actually, I think I can run another pass of fertilizer on the field before I plant. Well, no, I'm gonna fertilize as I go, right? That's one of the features of that particular planter that I got. And this guy, I think I'm going to try to park him somewhere out of the way since I won't be using it terribly often. I think I'll just park it under this shed over here. And that way I can reserve the other sheds for my working implements and the tractors. Yeah, I'll just park that there for the moment. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure that planter that we got, yeah, this will fertilize too. So we don't need to fertilize individually. We can do that all in one pass. So we'll get into that next time. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Appreciate it as always. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.